Alright, we're going to be watching ItsPinocchio playing Orisa and Zarya on Blizzard World. And this is bronze, I think, on PC. We'll find out. Can I get some advice on how to make my tank gameplay better? Hi, I just started playing Overwatch again, was never really good at it, and trying to get better. We got a little rolled this game, and I think quicker thinking from my end would have made the game easier for us. I know that I need to work on target prioritization and peeling for my team. Was wondering if I can get more tips on how to improve and what to work on. Thanks for your input. Alright, so this is bronze, so I'm gonna I'm gonna go pretty soft on you. You know, treat you kid gloves. I know you're new-ish. Didn't seem like you didn't play Overwatch too much in the past, and you're playing new WoW. So we're gonna cover a bunch of basics around tank play and what to do. I'm gonna spot. I warn you ahead of time. I'm gonna spot lots of optimizations, but I don't think a lot of them are gonna make a lot of sense to you. So I'm gonna try to only stick to like the big key items that I think you should really focus on as much as possible. Okay, so fundamentally, right, the job of a tank is to make space. On attack, your job is to take space away from the enemy. As on defense, your job as a tank is to hold space. Well, what does it mean as space? Space is all the places that your team can safely stand. Okay, so right now, standing here, you make this space safe to stand. Okay, because the team, otherwise, if you weren't standing there, they would just walk in and kill your team. All right, their job right now, their Orisa is going to come out and she's going to run up here and then she's going to try to take this space away from you. Okay. For starters, I don't think that you should play here, right? And the reason being is scouting is very important, especially as a tank, because you need to know what kind of lineup they have and what you need to do about it. So for example, if they go dive here, or they went ball, I mean, in bronze this is extremely unlikely, but if they go dive here or something, and they go right past you, then you're in big trouble, okay? Because you're not going to be able to react well to it at all. I think that it's actually probably a better idea to play high ground initially until you see what they have. Maybe I take that back. You have a May. You do have a May. So I think this is actually probably better than I thought. I didn't take into account the May. Okay, I think with the May and the Symmetra, I actually think this is the right call to play here. This is a fairly unusual lineup, but actually I take all of that back. I would say in general, I would default to playing back until you know what their lineup is, and then you can decide to step forward if your team wants to step forward. But I think that in this particular setup, I think this is okay. I will tell you that generally on this point is only has one fight typically because it's very short, right? If they kill you here, they walk onto point and they cap, and it's really hard for you to come back from spawn and run all the way over here and contest. So this point typically only gets one fight. That one fight at higher levels almost always happens on the point itself, right? Holding the left and the right sides of the point. Okay, the reason why they do that is because it makes it really hard for you to be flanked because you're all clumped together into a ball, A, and B, it gives your DPS a chance to play high ground over here, and it gives your supports safe spaces to play with cover. The problem over here is that once they start moving in, it exposes everyone to long sight angles, okay? So let's say you get pushed in here, and then your support, let's say you have an Ana here, your Ana starts running back, she can get shot from the center, okay? Then she gets over here, and then she can get shot from here, or if she goes this way, she can get shot from the right side. Like, there's a long way for them to run to get safe again. That's the reason why typically teams do not play up close. But in this scenario, with the May and Symmetra, I guess it's okay to do this. All right, you see a Pharah, it is not your job to kill the Pharah. Like if she lands near you, yeah, go ahead and kill her. But generally speaking, not your job to kill a Pharah. It is a waste of your time to kill a Pharah. This is a good javelin, right? Just apply pressure, right? Yeah, she lands. Yeah, go ahead and throw some. Okay, this is problem number one. Don't use your defensive cooldowns if you don't need to. In particular, don't use Fortify because Fortify has a very long cooldown. You see, it's got 11 seconds. I think it's actually 12 seconds if I play it out. 2, 1. Yeah, it's 12 seconds, okay? Spin only has a 6-second cooldown, so you can use that more liberally, more freely. But for Fortify, do not pop Fortify unless you have a very good plan as what to do with it. A very good plan being, I'm going to A, die if I don't use Fortify, or B, I'm going to use Fortify to win this fight by walking to the opposing team and killing someone. Okay? Spin, you can use Spin whatever. Sort of. Right? Try to get some value from it. But Fortify, do not pop Fortify casually. So, this is why people do not play this point. The Orisa has flanked your team, and you should have heard this. Okay, it's hard for me to do it because in replay I have to turn down the volume really low. But you should have heard the footsteps from the Orisa, like right there. And then you should have turned and immediately gone to deal with the Orisa and prevented her from getting into your backline. So you don't do anything about this. Too late. Okay, again, you missed an opportunity to javelin her against the statue. Right here. Maybe she fortifies, maybe she doesn't, but at least it slows her down to prevent her from trying to kill your Mercy. So you do it too late, right? Now you're kind of on there, and then everyone's just gonna die. And this is why people don't play on this course. Okay, so let's kind of watch from the vertical view to understand why did we lose this fight. So you're playing up here, right? You should have been very suspicious because you have not seen the tank. Okay, there's no reason to play this close. Like, if you don't know what the tank is, it could be anything. It could be a Roadhog here, for example, about to insta-kill somebody. Right? It could be a Ryan about to charge and kill someone. You know, some other weird shenanigans. There's no reason to just not back up a little bit and be like, okay, what is going on here? So Orisa's going to come through, and Orisa's going to make space because she's going to distract your whole team by the fact that she's in your backline right away. And so nobody is attacking forwards anymore, right? Because everyone's trying to deal with the Orisa, which means that their team can now safely walk in. This wasn't safe before because the Ana could have shot, right? And maybe you could have shot the Pharah. But now that the Orisa's in, all of this effectively has become safe for the enemy team because you're distracted, and the Pharah's going to come in and just kill everybody, right? Kills the Mercy, kills the Symmetra, flies up, kills the Ana, and now what can you do? There's no point in staying alive here, right? You have no chance of starting. This is a mistake right now. You're going to end up staggering yourself, okay? So why is this a mistake? Let's look at when your team is going to spawn. So your Ana spawned right now, which is when you should have spawned. This is when you spawned. You see how big this gap is? That's because you tried to stay alive. You just lost 3 people there. Okay, starting at this point, all right, going after your Mercy. All right, they've killed 1. You see the main has died, right? Your Mercy has died. This fight's over now. There's virtually no chance. Symmetra's died. There's definitely no chance. Like, I don't care if you're a GM top 500 Orisa. There's no way you win this fight. This fight is over. Okay, you should just die, right? Don't try to stay alive. I would just walk into the opposing team and make them kill me, because you want to die as soon as you possibly can. You use spin here, which keeps you alive longer, which is a really bad call. You should just die. Very important to just die and respawn with your team. Right? That's how staggering happens. When you get staggered, it's when you're not synced with your team, and then you can't go up. Again, if you were with your team, you could already be here playing this corner or playing the gate. You want to get as many fights on defense as possible for them to push in. Okay? So typically speaking, you get 2 fights per point. Right? On payload. You typically get 2 fights per point before they cap. Right? Here, the first fight will happen somewhere here, maybe over here, and the second fight will happen over here. Okay? But if you're quick and you're able to contest right away, you can potentially get 3 fights. They have to fight here, kill you, then they have to fight again here, kill you, then they have to fight again over here and kill you. Obviously, on defense, the more fights you force, the better off you will be, because it slows down the cart and it expends the enemy team's resources. Right? Very important. Okay, you bubble here. So, for Zarya, right, despite what some people might say, I think Zarya is actually still quite good right now. I will say that for Zarya, the best tip that I got from A10, who's one of the top Zaryas in the world, is bubble for space, not for charge. As in, don't use bubble just to gain energy. Use bubble to take space away from the enemy team. What does that mean, right? Don't just stand here and pop bubble and get some charge, okay? Especially at higher levels, they just won't shoot you. They'll recognize that they don't need to shoot you, that you're clearly looking for energy. Wow, it's weird what the arms are doing. And they will not attack you, okay? Instead, as the cart starts coming forwards, right, or you walk up into their face, then they start attacking you. And that's when you pop bubble, because that's what space is, right? When you try to take space away from them, you pop bubble, and then they have to attack you, and then you get full charge, and potentially you can do something. Now, in this situation, looking at where your team is, do not turn this corner right now. This is not going to work. Not yet, anyway. You got to get healed up. The Pharah is still a problem in the air. Right? You can beam down. Yeah, you can beam this Pharah for sure. So right here, for the record, Zarya does 90 to 170 damage per second with her beam. And that's always what you should be using to kill solo targets. Right? 1 target at a time, always use the beam. You are at 90 energy right now, so you're doing about 160 damage per second. You can beam down this Zarya in slightly more than 1 second alone. If you wanted to, and she's too low to the ground, just walk up here and just start beaming her, because you've also seen the Zarya has struggled to maintain altitude repeatedly. Okay, I know this because if you look way back here,
5, 4, 3,
see the Pharah's here, and then the Pharah is going to drop right here, which she doesn't actually need to, but she's not doing the mechanics well, which is why she takes so much damage. She should not have done that, right? It's because she doesn't have the technique to stay in the air indefinitely, which is why you're able to do a lot of damage here. That's the first time. The second time, you're going to see it again over... here, right? Again, she's going to struggle with altitude, and she's going to eventually end up dropping, right? Maybe she actually does an okay job here. No, she still gets way too low, right? Because you conceivably could have killed her. Not that it would have mattered at all. But like, you see how she's actually having, she's like keeps losing more and more altitude all the time. So I'm not confident that this Pharah can keep herself in the air where she needs to be. So if I see this Pharah over here drifting downwards on me, right here, I'm going to assume that she doesn't have much flight left, and she doesn't know how to prevent herself from dying too. So I think you have the right general idea. I think you're a little too far. Okay, just a little bit too far. You see that distance? You're like 2-3 meters away. So that's something that comes with practice with Zarya. You start to understand like how far, because it goes pretty far, right? This is like a good distance of this beam. It goes a lot farther than you might imagine. But you have to get just a little bit closer to make sure you're actually getting hits here. And I think that you can do a good job dispersing the Zarya. Another general tip is whenever possible, take high ground. Okay, especially on second point here, which is ruled by high ground. If you don't take the high ground here, the Pharah is going to sit here and kill your backline all day. And nobody can do anything about it, okay? That's going to be a huge problem. So honestly, right now, you should just go here, go upstairs, and immediately push the Pharah back. It's like, yeah, she can shoot from distance, that's fine. As long as she's not shooting your supports, right, your DPS, that's fine. Again, I don't know why you stopped attacking right here. Like, you had a good track right here. Yeah, just keep attacking. Right, you look down, I think, I don't know, for the rocket maybe? I'm not sure why you read that, but I think you could have done a lot more damage to her. Yeah, so you know that she's shooting your backline, you get nervous, but you immediately flick, and then you go for the Mercy instead of the Ana. To take a moment to look, right, and then see who's taking damage. Bastion's in trouble. Yeah, see, and then of course, because you're not able to hold back the Pharah, she just kills your backline, and then you get through. So the number one problem here, it's good to see by the Ana. The number one problem here is that you're simply not taking any space, right? The other team can go anywhere they want. They want to take high ground, they can take high ground. They want to kill your supports from above, they can kill your supports from above. They want to walk into kill you, they can do that. Right? And again, you stagger and die, which is a huge problem because you notice that your teammates that died initially are now coming out. But because you lived so long, you're not going to be able to come out to the cart for quite a while, which is unfortunate. So again, if you took high ground initially, your whole team could have worked together to keep the Pharah back, and then you could have played high ground and shot them down. Alright, so again, coming out by default, you gotta take high ground here. Because if you don't take high ground, this Pharah is gonna be the exact problem like the whole time. Like, she clearly can land shots. Like, I know it's tempting to play the Orisa here, but it's not gonna do anything. Well, I guess except the fact that nobody's healing. Your Sombra makes enough space that nobody heals the Orisa. I guess the Orisa dies. Okay, I think this is an okay bubble. Again, I think you lose track of the Pharah here. Like, you can see that she's still high up there. I think you should be looking up. Right? Again, see, you're not actually looking right now. You can see / hear the rockets, and it takes you way too long to figure out where she is. She does die, which is great. Right? You can kill the Ana, great. I think you should take high ground right now. Kill this Mercy, being silly. Ooh. I think you could have used beam or try to get her with the right click. Don't play the card. There's no reason to play the card. The thing about high ground is if you're on high ground, you can always drop low ground. But the reverse is not true. So always start high ground. If you're like, oh, it's a mistake to be up here, you can drop down quickly. Right? You should play high ground right now, and you should be looking for a grab opportunity. So, unlike Overwatch 1, where grab was like crazy strong, in Overwatch 2, grab lasts not nearly as long. So you should not grab unless your team can get the kill, or you're high energy and you have full ammo or nearly full ammo, and you know you can get the kill yourself. But it's also perfectly okay to get one kill. So, here, this is not a good bubble, right? You need to bubble people when they're actually in serious danger. Otherwise, they don't take any damage. It doesn't help them at all. Your Ana's full health because you just toss grenade. The Genji comes, but like he doesn't attack. He's like, oh, she's got a bubble, right? Then your Ana's in. Again, you should use bubble right now. You should use bubble. Oh, it's blue. Okay, now she pops. Again, imagine you had one more bubble right now. because you can use this to save your Ana, but you can't because you wasted that bubble earlier. Right? So now she pops Fortified to walk in your face, which is a good call by her. She's just pushing you back again. Like she just constantly keeps pushing you back. Right? You see how much space this Orisa has created, and you might say, okay, what could I do differently? Well, like I said, number one thing is play high ground. Okay? Number one thing is when you came out of spawn, right, long before this fight happened, right, just go high ground and push back this Genji. You see the Genji's on your Ana? Like, if you'd been up here, you could have killed this Genji or forced him to dash away or something. And then your Ana could have stayed on high ground, right? And then your Ana could have helped kill this Mercy and kill this Pharah. Okay? That's, like, problem number one. Number two, if you're on high ground, what's the Orisa going to do against you? Nothing. She might be like, oh, I'm going to keep moving cart, but you can just beam her down from high ground and you do so much damage that she can't do anything. She can't, like, blitz into you the way she does here and, like, javelin you against the wall. So playing high ground is, like, the kind of the key here. Again, the wasted bubble prevents you from saving your Ana. You also should have used the one bubble you had on your Ana because you have basically no chance of dying here, but the Ana certainly does. Generally speaking, if you just walk away from the Orisa, she can do about 160 to 200 damage from you, unless you're slowed by something else, which is nowhere close enough damage to kill a Zarya, but is enough damage to kill an Ana. Okay, again, she pops Nano here, you're just going to get forced back. I would go towards spawn here as much as possible. Going this way is not so good, but yeah, because she's going to keep trying to get you. Right, block javelin, which is good. Tracking here could be better. All right, quick. Oh, you kill her. But quick tip is always right click before your ammo finishes because it's free. Very good bubble here. Right, kill Zarya. I think this is a reasonable grab. I think the problem here is that the tank is already dead. So I would have felt confident winning this fight anyway. But it's possible you could lose this, right? The Pharah has been doing some work, so it's possible you could lose this. But I think in general it is not that bad of a grab. But I would have preferred that you try to see if you could win this fight without it. So don't do this where you were reloading while going around the corner. Right? You should reload now and just kind of pause for a second and then walk forward. Because now it gives the Ana a lot of time to react to you. It's a good bubble to prevent sleep. Also right click to finish people. Kills them quicker. Okay, so you can see that the Bastion's pushing them in, so you should go right here, not left. Right, and then cut off their escape. Good. Alright, Zarya's here. Great thing. So, Zarya, when you have full charge and 1/2 bubbles, you're like the strongest hero in the game. You can kill anything, and you're very, very hard to kill. So right now, you should bully the Zarya. You know how the Zarya was pushing you back constantly? You should do the same thing to the Orisa now. Just walk at her constantly and just beam her down. Even the Pharah there, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You can kill her for sure. Right? With your team pocketing you, right? You still have bubble here? Yeah, you can kill her. No problem here. Yeah, easy. Right? And in neutral positions like this, where nothing's happening, constantly keep right-clicking the team to farm ult charge. Right? Every right-click you get, depending on how much charge you have and how many people you hit, is going to give you somewhere between like 1 to 3% of ult charge. That's a big deal. If you land 10 of those, that's like 15 to 30% ult charge. Again, go high ground. Really important to go high ground right now. I think you're like trying to rotate right now, recognizing it. Oh, kill the Sombra. Good. You should still go high ground right now. Very important to go high ground. Again, you can always drop down from high ground, but you cannot do the reverse. If you were high ground right now, you could have seen the Bastion and bubbled him, right? And killed the Mercy or the Pharah. But because you're playing low ground, there's nothing you can do here. You see, like, I'm sure in this situation, you probably felt very helpless. You're like, oh, what do I do? The short answer is just go high ground. You have to go high ground. Even right now, still go high ground. Because, like, it's not going to do anything from this position. Okay, EMP goes off. Unfortunate, but great. Pharah drops here. You should kill the Pharah. You have no bubble right now, so just kill Pharah. Yeah. Good. All right, reload. Go high ground. Did you actually have ammo here? 36. You should immediately start zapping here to prevent the hack, right? Any amount of damage prevents hack by Sombra. But you reload instead, so you take this damage. I think you could have kept walking forwards here and killed the Mercy. Right? Just keep zapping here. Right? After about little more than 1 second, you would have killed the Mercy, and there's nowhere she can go in this situation. And that would have been easy. You're full health, so even the Pharah and Sombra are shooting you, you should beam the Mercy right now. Okay, like this moment, you see how low the Mercy is, right? 3 boxes, you could easily beam and kill her right now. I would caution you, don't beam people who are easy. Beam people who will actually, if they die, will actually change the fight. Okay? Because the Orisa is the easiest one to beam here, but she's not the one that's gonna die. But beaming, for example, the Mercy is high value. When Orisa spin at you like this, it means that they're about to ult. It is a very telegraphed way of saying, I have ult, I'm trying to use spin to get into the middle of your team as fast as possible, and I'm about to pull everybody in. So, in general, it's unfortunate because you have to play here, but I think you should recognize mentally that it's like, okay, this ult is coming, I need to have my next ult bubble charge to use for my team. Right here, I turn, and I bubble. Right? You could have used that to save Bastion or save Anna, either of your choice. Right? And then you're going to die here. It's unfortunate. Alright, so looking right here, this Mercy makes mistakes right now. Just start beaming her, right? Every opportunity you get against Mercies, poke them down. That's like their biggest weakness, is just continually poking them down, right? You can just beam her and force her to play differently, play off fair, whatever, it's great. Okay. So, what kind of goes wrong here? So you come out of spawn, again, you have 2 bubbles. Bubble this Bastion who is not actually being attacked. Like, there's one rocket, but he's also going around the corner. So you waste this first bubble, which is really important. Then you waste your second bubble. Again, notice you only have 11 charge on this bubble. From 2 bubbles, okay, which is really bad because it's 40 charge per bubble is max if you do 200, at least 200 damage to them. So you could be at 80 charge right now, but you are at 7, and now you have no charge. Now, even if you didn't bubble the Bastion at all, you would at least have two bubble charges right now, and you could do something. Because if you walk into the opposing team right now, I guarantee you they will shoot you, and then you can pop bubble and get some charge here. Also, I think your team's a little far back, but I think you could think about popping ulti here. So now you only have 1 bubble charge, and you have low energy. So now you popped your last bubble charge, so you must play safe. Without bubble chargers, play safe. Okay? Never try to aggress unless you really know what you're doing if you have no bubble charges, because then you die very quickly. Okay, you have to back up here. Again, you don't have any bubble charges. It's really unfortunate. I would question whether you could even get away here. You really need to bubble and leave or die right away. You're gonna die. Oh, I can't believe you live. No, you don't live. Yeah, again, another situation where you're staggering yourself. Okay, you're trying way too hard to live. Your life does not actually matter once the rest of your team is dead. Right? Winning fights is what matters. You have to grab as soon as possible. So you should bubble whoever this is, May, right? And then you see an opportunity right here. Okay, you can grab at least these 2 in. You could also try. Oh boy, that's not a great ulti. So obviously, grab is not great against Pharah and Mercy. I think you could have grabbed right here and it probably would have gotten her. I think you could grab the wall and possibly gotten her, or you could just grab this, right? And at least pull Orisa and Moira in. You don't know if they have cooldowns or not, but like you're kind of desperate right now. And then you end up, yeah, this just kind of goes haywire. And again, notice that you only got 1 fight here, right? Because you staggered, you only got the 1 fight right here, and then you got this like half-assed fight at the end, which doesn't really count because there's no chance you could have really won that. If you had not staggered with your team, right, and you had died with them, you would have gotten a second solid fight before they reached the final point and before they could camp your spawn doors. Okay, let's watch offense. Okay, I see that you're taking the same strategy as the Orisa, which honestly I don't think is that good of a strategy to begin with, but so be it. Okay, so I will give you a quick tip about the Orisa versus Orisa matchup. I will also link a video that I do where I talk about this, and I show you an Orisa versus Orisa in like Diamond 1. So before Orisa versus Orisa, this is what you want to do. You want to shoot the enemy Orisa until she gets scared and uses spin. Then you want to shoot the Orisa until she uses fortify. Then you want to shoot the Orisa until she uses spin again. Then you pop fortify and kill her. That's the essence of it. Okay? And you might say, okay, well, how can I do all those things without, needing to use any abilities? Number 1, you try to hold fortify as much as you possibly can. Number 2, you can use spins. Using spin's okay, right? So you can use spin when she's fortified, for example, and is like laying damage into you. That's a good opportunity to spin. You can use cover. You can use your teammates. You can look for the right timing. Lots of things there. But popping fortify first is a massive mistake. I will tell you that. Popping fortify first is a massive mistake because you can easily counter it with spin. Alright, against Bastion, Bastion has 6 seconds up when he's in tank form and he's crazy dangerous, and he has 10 seconds down when he's not in tank form. So you have to track, does Bastion have tank form yet or not? If you see him use tank form, hide. when tank form's over, push into his team very, very aggressively to try to get as much space as possible until tank form is up. You usually won't be able to win, but you can take some space. Then he pops tank form, you give him a little space, and then you go again. Right? So try to save spin for Bastion ulti whenever possible, or Bastion tank mode, because spin will completely eradicate all his damage. So you kind of leave your teammate out to dry here. Okay, you're in, right, fighting. You see your junks out here, right? And your team can't heal him because, you know, you're kind of wedged into the doorway. Then your Bastion comes out to try to help the junk. And then you decide to go back in to get this Mega, even though you're basically full health with 2 supports here. Okay, you see how you just kind of wander back? You're like, oh, wait, I'm actually totally fine. So you have to keep an eye on your health when you play. Okay, you need to come in earlier, and you see how the Orisa is just going to hunt down your Bastion. Very lucky that Bastion does not die there. Okay, and then kill the Bastion. You see, this is a situation where I can see that you don't actually know if you can win this fight. Right, take modes down. At this point, just run straight at him in a straight line. There's nothing he can do to stop you from killing him. Just chase him down. You see, you get like scared. You're like, oh, can I win this? Can I win? You can win this. If he's not in tank form, he is like practically harmless. So he's gonna have tank form soon, and you should recognize that. You go for the Mercy, which is the right call. All right, but you notice your Bastion's going for the Bastion, so you should try to help in the Bastion duel. Focus what your teammates are shooting. Right? You decide to javelin your Bastion, which doesn't do anything. Unfortunately, I assume you probably like lost track of which Bastion was which. You should just spin right now. So you have an opportunity here to also spin them off the edge, for the record. That's also a thing that you can do. So you're nanoed right now. Again, you can target somebody down. Yep, kill the Bastion. Just stay on him, stay on him, stay on him, stay on him, stay on him. Yep, Bastion's dead. Great, kill supports. Risa's here. Try to ignore the Orisa. Right, you have ulti charge. You're going to be way ahead in the ulti charge because she died. I would ulti right there. Right? When the Mercy Guardian Angels into your face, you know she doesn't have the ability to get away for 2 seconds. And you could have Guardian Angel right here to pull the Kiriko, the Mercy, and the Orisa all to you. And then nobody can get away because the Mercy doesn't have Guardian Angel any. First of all, she doesn't have it for 2 seconds. Number 2, she has nobody to Guardian Angel to. And then the Kiriko is also sucked in and doesn't have anybody to Swift Step to. So that would be a big play right there, is the ulti right now and pull all 3 of them to you. Close Javelin. Alright, you pop ulti. Works out, good enough. Alright, I would spin her towards the Kiriko to just knock her away and hurry up this fight. Because I actually want to get the Kiriko. So yeah, this is good. I want to kill the Kiriko as soon as possible. Yep, great. Gets stuck in the trap. Kill the Kiriko. Alright, again, Bastion here. Right, tank mode's gonna done. So right now, you know, there's a Genji in your backline, which is unfortunate. So I think you can't push right now. You should recognize, oh shoot, we're losing people. I gotta go back. Alright, you die. It's okay. That's fine. You know, they came in contested. It's fine. Again, look for opportunities to javelin the Bastion into a wall, because then it does bonus damage and stuns him. And then you get free shots there too. By the way, Genji, his deflect does not work against spin. So you see how he's 40 health? Spin does up to 100 damage if you hit every tick. So if you just pop spin here and just walk into the Genji for about 3/4 of a second, he'll die. Right, you could have killed that Genji right there just by spinning into his face, and you had spin available. Alright, Orisa popped Fortify, it's fine, okay. Now she pops spin. Now you can just Fortify and walk into her face and kill her. This is like the key moment. Remember I said like, hey, you track Fortify, then you track spin after that, just pop Fortify and kill her. Alright, again, you can use spin to kill Genji here. You can use spin to walk out of this, right, faster. There's nothing you can do once she starts popping ulti, because she's functionally invincible. Alright, now you should, yeah, Genji here. Again, be aggressive right now. They have no Orisa. Go for the Javelin. Go for the Javelin, right? Because if you pin her against this tank, she dies. Pretty good tracking there. Yeah, that's pretty good tracking, actually. That's probably the best aim I've seen you go for the whole game. Alright. Don't get too crazy here. You know the card's still got to move, right? But you can definitely try to take this corner and get poke them back a little bit. You should also consider potentially going high ground. Because if they take high ground, you know, bad news for you. But at least for now, it's okay. Because their Orisa's also on high ground. So their Orisa, you should recognize, is overextended. You see how her team is all the way over here? She has no supports. I would push the Orisa very hard right now. Right? Do not let her get away. I would be very aggressive on her. Right? You're ahead in the fight. Spin. I would spin right now into her face. Right, spin right now into her face. Shoot, 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 shoot. She pops her spin. I wait it out. I pop Fortify. I kill her. Great, big opportunity right now. I think this is a pretty good job. You recognize that she's trying to chase the Bastion down. Great, kill her. Yep, doing good job. Good job tracking the Mercy. Super low. Almost got her. Okay, you got a lot of people with that. Wow. Okay, that's a good ulti. I don't know if you realize you get the people above you, but you got it. Yep, just keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting. No, don't go for the javelin. She has 1 health. Yeah. All right, great. So far attacks are going pretty well actually. Right, good tracking on the head. All right, you capped 17 point. Good. All right, they're running Ramatra now. So for Ramatra, again, the general idea is bait Nemesis, and when he's a Nemesis, like there's not a lot you can do, you know, kind of hold him back. Like he doesn't do too much damage. His damage per second actually goes lower when he's in Nemesis form, but you can't kill him because he has block. So just keep poking him, stay in his face. When he's in Mage form though, really easy to kill. So kind of wait out Nemesis form. Yep, I think this is the right call. You recognize that your Bastion is popping ulti. You stand in front of spin. This is good gameplay right here. I would have gone for a Javelin, because when she's floating like that, and she's kind of like, almost like stationary in air, like right now, you see how she's stationary for a little bit? I would have thrown Javelin. By the way, when Ramatra throws his little ball, this thing, you can pop spin and you can eat it to prevent him from putting together this field that slows and damages everybody. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but the slow can be very annoying. Yep, you do a good job right here. Breaking him out of block again, but he can toggle it, so it doesn't actually stop him. Very good. I would be thinking right now, I have 60% to ulti. I want to farm ulti. I want to play safe, farm ulti, and then pop it, because I'm probably ahead in ult charge because I know they swapped the Ramatra. So I feel in this case you're about even, right? But I think, hey, I feel pretty good that I can farm ulti here and use ulti to win the fight. But you need to constantly be cranking out damage. All right. I know you heard / saw the Reaper. Okay. The problem is like it's not your job to deal with right now. He's like way too far in the back line. So your team is getting kind of barraged from all angles, okay? The Pharah is constantly hitting them. The Pharah is constantly shooting your back line. The Ramatra's poking at them. And you just need to do more here. You should need to recognize that nobody's actually targeting you right now, so you can just go straight into the Ramatra or straight into the Moira to try to force them out, because you're not helping your team at all, just standing near them, if that makes sense. Right? That's not actually going to help them win this fight. Again, be very aggressive. Right? Go for the Moira. I think that's the right call. Good tracking. Look for her. Yes. Oh, you saw her. No, just kill Moira. Okay, pop ulti. That's good, right? Ooh. Yeah, I think you're gonna die. Okay, so kind of analyzing this again, what should you have done differently? So first of all, again, I think you should have been putting pressure on them much sooner, much sooner. Like right now, you shouldn't have backed out. We see how you like kind of back away, and then you take cover. Like, you don't need to. Just fight him. Just fight him. Like, literally, just fight him. You do more damage than he does, right? In all forms. Both Mage form and Nemesis form, you do more damage. Okay? You spin in, which is okay, right? Then this goes off. You do a good job forcing the Moira out. You see the fade. You see she like, ends on your screen. Just kill her. At this point, there's nothing she can do to prevent you from killing her. You should have killed her right here. Even with Moira, or Mercy killing her, you can kill her here, for sure. Even without Javelin. Just shoot her down with Nano. Right, so the Moira should already be dead right now, which reduces healing for the Ramatra, which will allow you to kill the Ramatra. Alright, Ramatra, I don't think this is a good time for ulti. I think you're doing it because you're trying to do the cart, in which case I think you should have just held it longer to let the cart cap. I think that's the other thing you could have done here, is you're trying to pop ulti here and try to keep them off the cart. I think if you just hold it longer, maybe they keep off, but the Pharah goes after your back line. And then everything kind of falls apart from there. So yeah, just be more aggressive when you're like, hey, I can't do anything about the Pharah in the air. I can't do anything about the Reaper in the back line. I can do something about the Ramatra and the Moira in my face. Right? Just kind of recognize like what's within your power on the hero that you have to do something about. It was a good Javelin attempt, but you hit the cart. Alright, Pharah gets a kill back here. You're going to wake her early. I think you should have Javelined her first. Right? Javelined her first and then shot her, which would have resulted in a kill. Right, now you're taking a lot of damage. You pop Fortify. Again, you can use spin right here to reduce damage taken instead of using Fortify. Spin will reduce 100% of damage here. Ramatra trying to stall. Again, go after the back line. Right, there's not a lot that you can do here. You know he doesn't have ulti, so you shouldn't be so worried. You need to hit more with javelins too. You're throwing them a little early, like so. Look at this soldier. Look at this soldier, right? So right here, he's like kind of dodging around, but now he walks in a straight line. Like this is an easy javelin. You just turn to the right and javelin him. So you can pause a little bit and look for a better, easier javelin opportunity. You pop 4 to 5, but you don't really need it. You're 350, right? 350 if you pop it, and you're behind the cart. Gotta get in there. Again, if you can javelin more out of Coalescence, that's a big play. Right. Soldier pops visor. You've already lost one. This fight's over. Yeah, you should just die. Don't spin. Don't try to stay alive. Just die. Yep, really important to die. All right, 8 seconds. So you have one last fight. You can touch the cart, so you don't have to worry too much. Again, I would try to javelin that soldier, because why not? Get to the cart. Get to the cart. Get to the cart. Oh no. I don't know. It's your job to touch the cart in the situation. You have plenty of time. Like, just spin up to the cart. You're totally fine. I know you're like waiting for your support, but you have to touch the cart in this situation. Okay. So what's the summary here? I would say number 1 is don't stagger. Number 1, die with your team, right? Fight for your team, die with your team. Very important. Don't try to, because I think that costs you probably a few defense attempts, because you end up staggering. So fight and die with your team. Number 1. Number 2, I would say high ground is super important, and by default, always take high ground. Right? This is a good general rule. Take high ground. You can always drop from high ground to low ground if you decide you've made a mistake and you want to go back to low ground. You cannot. Vice versa is not true. Number 3 is recognize what is within your power to do. If you're an Orisa, it is not your job to kill Pharah and Mercy, right? But it is your job to prevent the other tank from doing anything, and it's your job to kill anybody else who's on the ground. Okay? And number 4 is don't use defensive abilities recklessly, right? Carelessly. Understand, is this actually going to help me? Do I really need this defensive cooldown? If not, keep it up, because it's probably going to be more useful. And I would say in a distant second for number 5, I think your aim could be a little better, but in particular your javelins could be much better. I think you miss almost every javelin this game, which is tough. I think you should practice deathmatch. You can be that person who plays tank in deathmatch, because you miss a lot of javelins, and javelin is a huge part of Orisa's kit, right? I would say bubble usage for Zarya is also another one we should note, is that, again, be careful with your bubbles, right? Make sure they're actually going to provide value, and bubble for space, not for charge. Okay, cool. Hopefully that's helpful.